Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of remote work.
We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we?
We really have. From landing a remote gig to setting up your home office,
Right.
even mastering the art of work-life balance when you're working from home. But now I want to kind of like zoom out
Okay. Yeah.
and look at the bigger picture here. How is this remote work revolution reshaping the world around us?
It's interesting because remote work isn't just changing how we work.
Mm-hmm.
It's challenging kind of those fundamental assumptions about where work happens.
Yeah.
We've always associated work with a specific place, the office, the factory, wherever.
Right.
But now those lines are blurring, and that has, all these implications for everything from urban planning to economic development.
Okay, so let's start with cities then.
Okay.
If more people are working from home, does that mean the end of rush hour? The decline of those, bustling downtown business districts?
Oh, it's a possibility. Some urban planners are actually talking about a donut effect. Have you heard about this?
No.
So it's where people move away from those expensive city centers to more affordable suburbs or even rural areas,
All right.
leaving a kind of hollowed out downtown.
Wow.
Yeah. So imagine office towers turned into residential spaces.
Okay. Yeah.
A total shift in the very fabric of urban life.
But wouldn't that have kind of like a ripple effect on all of those businesses that rely on those daily commuters?
Right.
The coffee shops, the lunch spots, the dry cleaners, all those,
Yeah, absolutely. There's a real concern about the economic viability of those businesses if foot traffic dwindles.
Right.
But think about it on the flip side.
Okay.
This is an opportunity for new businesses to emerge in those suburban and rural areas, catering to a newly remote workforce.
Yeah, okay.
You might see a rise in local co-working spaces, cafes specifically designed for remote workers.
Yeah.
It's a whole new ecosystem built around this distributed workforce.
That is fascinating. So it's
Right.
not just about people moving, it's about businesses adapting.
Yeah.
To this new landscape.
Right.
Finding new ways to connect with customers and create value. What about the impact on the commercial real estate market?
Oh, yeah.
If companies need less office space,
Mm-hmm.
what happens to all those empty buildings?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
Some experts predict a wave of conversions, turning office buildings into residential spaces, mixed-use developments, even vertical farms.
Wow. Yeah.
And others see it as an opportunity to rethink urban design, creating more green spaces, community hubs, and spaces that kind of foster, connection and creativity.
Okay, so let's zoom out even further.
Okay.
What about the impact on the economy as a whole?
This is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Because some economists argue that remote work could lead to a surge in productivity.
Okay.
Workers are less stressed, they have more control over their schedules, and they're not wasting hours commuting.
Yeah.
Imagine all that extra time and energy channeled into, creative work, innovation, and problem solving.
Makes sense. Happy workers are productive workers.
Right.
But, I've also heard some concerns about potential downsides, like a widening gap between those who can work remotely and those whose jobs require them to be physically present.
Absolutely. That's a critical point. Remote work opportunities tend to be concentrated in certain industries
Right.
and among higher skilled workers. So
Yeah.
this could really exacerbate existing inequalities
Yeah.
and create kind of a two-tiered workforce where remote workers are enjoying, greater flexibility, earning potential, while others are left behind.
So it's not just about the technology. It's about ensuring that the benefits of remote work are accessible to everyone,
Yes,
regardless of their profession or skill level.
absolutely.
And then there are the social and cultural implications to consider, right?
Right?
I mean, we've talked about the potential for isolation, but there's also the question of how remote work might reshape workplace culture.
Yeah.
Will those informal interactions that spark, innovation and collaboration disappear in a virtual world?
Makes you think about all those chance encounters that happen in a physical office.
Yeah.
Bumping into a colleague in the hallway, overhearing a conversation that sparks a new idea,
Yeah.
Those moments of serendipity that can be so hard to replicate online.
It's true. And then there's like the broader societal questions, right?
Right.
If remote work becomes the norm, how will it affect our sense of community,
Right.
our social connections, the way we interact with the world around us?
These are all big, important questions.
Yeah.
And to be honest, we're still figuring out the answers.
Yeah.
It's like this remote work revolution is unfolding in real time.
It really is.
And it's going to take time to fully understand its long-term implications.
But I think what's important is that we're having these conversations,
Absolutely.
that we're thinking critically about both the potential benefits and the potential challenges.
Yes.
We need to be proactive in shaping the future of work, ensuring that it's equitable,
Yeah,
sustainable, and ultimately beneficial for everyone.
absolutely. I think that's a great note to end on.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive,
We have.
from the nitty-gritty of landing a remote job to the broader societal shifts that are underway.
Yeah, and I hope our listeners feel empowered to navigate this new world of work with confidence and awareness.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time to be a remote worker, but it's also a time for reflection and intentionality.
Mm,
How do we want to work, live, and connect in this increasingly digital world? The answers are still being written, and each of us has a role to play in shaping that future.
that's right.
Yeah.
The future of work is, in many ways, up to us.
Yeah.